Imagine stepping into a world where your every move is dissected, your identity questioned, and your entire life journey becomes a global conversation. This is a story not just about public life, but about the profound courage it takes to forge your own path, build an empire on your own terms, and find your authentic voice in the blinding glare of the spotlight. Imagine stepping into a world where your every move is dissected, your identity questioned, and your entire life journey becomes a global conversation. This is a story not just about public life, but about the profound courage it takes to forge your own path, build an empire on your own terms, and find your authentic voice in the blinding glare of the spotlight. You see, the hum of anticipation around this individual was always palpable, a silent yet persistent resonance of curiosity, skepticism, and judgment that seemed to cling to every space they entered. It was a world of blinding camera flashes and incessant whispers, a colossal stage inadvertently set for a transformation so profoundly personal, yet undeniably public, defying easy categorization. Imagine the sheer audacity required to embark on such deep self-discovery and radical reinvention, not in quiet solitude, but under the harsh, unforgiving gaze of millions across the globe. This was far more than a mere superficial alteration. It was a complete recalibration of an entire identity, a brave step into an authentic self that profoundly challenged and ultimately transcended conventional societal understanding. From the outset, it became abundantly clear that this would be no ordinary path. Society often prefers to neatly categorize individuals, favoring the comforting familiarity of the known. But this person with unwavering resolve chose to shatter those very boxes, demonstrating an unyielding commitment to their innermost truth. Even when it challenged the fabric of established norms, the formidable journey began subtly, an almost imperceptible unfolding of an internal conviction, before blossoming into a full, undeniable public reveal. Every photograph, every interview, every public outing became a moment of intense, relentless scrutiny. Each detail, meticulously dissected, analyzed, and often misconstrued. It demanded an extraordinary level of emotional resilience and fortitude to navigate this constant barrage of external opinions, to sift through the cacophony of noise and hold unwavering firm to one's own deeply ingrained internal compass. Consider the immense emotional weight, the sheer psychological endurance required to read sensationalized headlines that misrepresented your story, to hear strangers openly debate and dismiss your very being, and yet to remain steadfast in your relentless pursuit of genuine self-expression. This wasn't just about raw courage. It was about a profound act of self-love, an unbreakable commitment to honoring an authentic identity, regardless of the immense external cost. The path was not paved with ease. There were moments of overwhelming pressure, a pervasive sense of isolation even amidst crowds, and the constant battle against narratives imposed from external sources that sought to define and constrain. But with each challenge overcome, with each deliberate step further into the embrace of their true self, a new indomitable strength emerged. A quiet power that resonated authentically with those who truly saw beyond the surface. This individual understood that true liberation wasn't about seeking external validation, but about unequivocally claiming one's own narrative, about living a life so profoundly and unapologetically authentically that its sheer existence spoke louder than any chorus of critics or detractors. And from this intensely personal crucible, forged in the fires of public scrutiny and self-discovery, something truly extraordinary began to bloom. An entrepreneurial spirit as sharp and incisive as it was profoundly visionary, having meticulously navigated the complex landscape of public perception and radical personal reinvention. This person possessed a unique insight into the intricate mechanics of human connection and public engagement. They recognized profound gaps in existing industries, understood untapped markets, and possessed an uncanny ability to connect with people on a deeply human, empathetic level, effortlessly transcending superficial headlines. This wasn't about chasing fleeting trends. It was about identifying genuine unmet needs and meticulously crafting innovative, lasting solutions. Imagine the sheer audacity and unconventional courage it took to transition from a mere subject of tabloid fascination to a legitimate, highly respected business leader. It demanded an unparalleled blend of intuition, strategic thinking, and an unshakable willingness to defy and redefine conventional expectations. their pioneering ventures were never solely about financial gain. They were always deeply imbued with a profound underlying purpose, often directly reflecting their own arduous journey of authenticity, empowerment, and self-actualization. They possessed an almost prescient ability to see lucrative opportunities, where others only perceived insurmountable obstacles, expertly transforming lived challenging experiences into actionable, sustainable business models, whether developing groundbreaking technology for human connection or launching products promoting holistic well-being. Their approach was always deeply rooted in a sincere desire to contribute meaningfully to the world. They built diverse teams, forged robust partnerships, and navigated finance and innovation with a formidable determination that belied the public drama. Their entrepreneurial success became an undeniable testament to the idea that true disruptive innovation often originates from unexpected places, from individuals who have lived authentically outside established lines and thus perceive the world with a fresh, unburdened perspective. They understood sophisticated branding, not just for products, but for themselves as an evolving public figure, carefully curating an image reflecting their innermost values, rather than bowing to external pressures. This entire journey was a masterclass in transforming perceived vulnerability into undeniable strength, transforming personal challenges into a powerful platform for growth and creative expression. The story then takes an even broader turn, transitioning beyond personal transformation and entrepreneurial endeavors to embrace an impactful role as a dedicated advocate for a wider, more inclusive societal vision. Having experienced firsthand the complexities of identity perception and societal acceptance, this individual naturally evolved into a compelling voice for those often marginalized or unheard. Their advocacy was never theoretical. It was profoundly personal, rooted in lived experience, and delivered with quiet authority. They understood the critical importance of visibility and authentic representation, shining a clear light on crucial issues often languishing in obscurity. This wasn't about self-aggrandizing. It was about genuine empathy, using their platform to foster deeper understanding, build bridges, and dismantle societal divides. They spoke not just for themselves, but for a broader, diverse community, steadily becoming a powerful beacon of hope and a catalyst for systemic change. Their highly visible position afforded them the opportunity to engage directly in crucial, uncomfortable conversations, challenging ingrained notions, and promoting a more inclusive world. They navigated turbulent waters of social commentary with remarkable grace, consistently demonstrating that true leadership is often quietly persistent, deeply empathetic, and strategically impactful. The profound impact of their advocacy resonated far beyond immediate headlines, sparking vital dialogues, initiating policy discussions, and subtly shifting perspectives. This was the undeniable mark of someone who deeply understood that their own story held universal truths about the human experience. The innate desire for acceptance, the struggle for authentic self-expression, and the unwavering pursuit of self-determination, they never shied away from difficult conversations. Instead, they leaned into them, inviting open dialogue and encouraging deeper societal empathy. Their entire public life became a living testament to the idea that lasting influence originates from deep integrity, from an unshakable commitment to a cause greater than oneself. They consistently demonstrated that personal growth and societal impact are inextricably intertwined. The journey also revealed with remarkable transparency the intricate dynamics of partnerships and intimate relationships under an unforgiving spotlight. Navigating personal connections under perpetual voyeuristic observation is an extraordinary challenge. Every interaction, every glance, every shared private moment was potentially subject to widespread interpretation, wild speculation, and harsh judgment. Yet within this high-pressure crucible, a profound, resilient bond of partnership and deep mutual respect blossomed. This was no conventional relationship. Its unconventional nature boldly defied many entrenched societal expectations, making it a constant subject of fascination. But beneath the superficial curiosity lay a rock-solid foundation of unwavering support, shared values, and a profound understanding of each other's challenging paths. They meticulously built a meaningful world, together navigating personal and professional challenges as a united front, demonstrating that immense strength and fulfillment can be found in unconventional pairings. This unique dynamic brilliantly illuminated the beauty and liberation of choosing your own path, defining your own happiness, and finding deep solace and strength in a partnership that truly understands and uplifts your spirit. It served as a powerful counter-narrative to simplistic portrayals of relationships, revealing a remarkable depth, resilience, an unwavering commitment forged by time and shared adversity. The overarching narrative arc of this individual's entire life is without question a masterclass. Resilience. Time and again, they faced daunting moments and insurmountable obstacles that could have shattered their spirit, from relentless public criticism to deeply personal challenges. Yet with each obstacle, they found a way to not only endure, but to emerge stronger, more resolute, and even more determined. This wasn't about avoiding pain. It was about bravely acknowledging it, processing it, and ultimately transforming it into powerful fuel for growth and self-actualization. The public often perceives only the polished exterior, the successful entrepreneur, the articulate advocate. But hidden beneath lies a deeply human story of struggle, perseverance, and unwavering faith in oneself. They cultivated an inner strength that allowed them to weather the fiercest storms, to stand firm in the face of adversity, and to continuously redefine what was truly possible. This resilience wasn't static. It was a dynamic muscle, honed through countless trials and moments of self-doubt, ultimately serving as an inspiring testament to the human spirit's power to adapt, overcome, and strive for greater heights. It's a compelling reminder that our most profound strengths often emerge from our deepest struggles. This remarkable story is far more than just a chronicle of one extraordinary person's life. It's a profound reflection on the very nature of identity in our rapidly evolving modern world. In an era where online personas often distort genuine selves and public opinion can feel overwhelming, this individual's transformative journey offers a powerful, much-needed counter-narrative. It champions the idea that true self-worth is internal, that authentic self-expression is the ultimate power, and that true courage lies in daring to be uniquely, unapologetically different. Their compelling story inspires us to question our assumptions, look beyond appearances, and courageously embrace the multifaceted tapestry of human experience. It challenges us to consider what it means to live a life of profound purpose, to build a lasting legacy that transcends fleeting fame, and to contribute to a more empathetic, understanding, and accepting world. The narrative of this life unfolds like a rich tapestry, weaving together threads of personal evolution, ambitious entrepreneurship, impactful advocacy, and resilient relationships. Each thread contributes meaningfully to a larger picture of a life lived boldly, unapologetically, and with profound impact. This is not merely a story to be observed. It is a profound narrative to be felt, learned from, and inspired by. It prompts us to reflect on our own journeys, challenges, and definitions of success in a world that relentlessly seeks to categorize us. This extraordinary individual serves as a powerful reminder of the innate power inherent in defining ourselves on our own terms with unwavering conviction. It's an undeniable testament that even under the brightest lights, one can find their truest self, and in doing so illuminate the path for countless others. The enduring legacy being meticulously built is not merely one of personal achievement, but rather one of transformative societal progress, eloquently demonstrating that authenticity, integrity, and resilience are unequivocally the most powerful, invaluable currencies in our rapidly changing, increasingly complex world. This truly is a story for the ages, a compelling argument for the boundless power of the human spirit to transcend all external expectations and courageously forge a path that is uniquely its own, inspiring generations to come. It's an immersive exploration into the very essence of what it fundamentally means to be truly human in an ever-evolving landscape, a testament to the enduring quest for meaning and identity. The initial steps into this entrepreneurial landscape were anything but smooth, marked by a pervasive skepticism that followed them like a shadow, a constant hum of doubt from established players who saw only the sensationalized headlines, not the astute mind brimming with visionary ideas. Every pitch meeting, every potential partnership felt less like a negotiation and more like a trial, a relentless interrogation of their credibility. They faced dismissive glances, veiled condescension, and outright rejections from venture capitalists and industry veterans who simply couldn't reconcile the tabloid caricature with the serious strategic thinker sitting across from them. What Could asterisk they possibly know about business, about technology, about genuine human needs? The unspoken question lingered in every sterile boardroom. Yet it was precisely this underestimation, this inherent bias, that ignited an even fiercer resolve within them. Their first major foray was into the realm of digital wellness, an audacious move to create a platform that wasn't about fleeting trends or superficial fixes, but about fostering authentic, sustainable personal growth, mirroring the profound transformation they had undergone. This wasn't a celebrity vanity project. It was a meticulously designed ecosystem built from the ground up, aimed at democratizing access to mental health resources, mindfulness practices, and community support. The initial public reception was predictably a mixed bag. The mainstream media, ever eager for a catchy narrative, either sensationalized it as another whimsical celebrity endeavor or dismissed it as a naive attempt to capitalize on their past fame. Critics, particularly those from traditional tech and health sectors, scrutinizing every line of code, every marketing claim, often highlighted perceived shortcomings, with a gleeful eagerness, eager to prove their initial skepticism correct. Social media, an untamed beast of public opinion, was a whirlwind of both effusive praise and vitriolic attacks. Supporters, many of whom identified deeply with their journey, lauded the bravery and authenticity of the venture, finding solace and strength in its mission. But the detractors, a vocal minority, weaponized every perceived misstep, every technical glitch, every awkward public statement, twisting it into definitive proof of their supposed incompetence. This constant, relentless public scrutiny, far from breaking their spirit, acted as a refining fire. Each scathing review, each dismissive comment, each moment of doubt whispered in the online ether, forced a deeper introspection, a more rigorous self-assessment. They learned to filter the noise, to discern constructive criticism from mere vitriol, and to lean harder into their core purpose. There were countless nights spent poring over user feedback, refining algorithms, rethinking user interfaces, driven by an unshakable belief in the value they were striving to create. The early days were a grueling test of endurance, financially precarious and emotionally draining. They drew upon an inner well of resilience, a well forged in the crucible of their own very public reinvention, understanding intimately what it felt like to be judged, misunderstood, and to navigate profound personal change in the blinding spotlight. It was during these nascent stages, when the venture teetered on the brink, that a pivotal turning point emerged. A small independent documentary, produced by a team genuinely invested in the project's mission, rather than its celebrity founder, offered a raw, unfiltered glimpse behind the carefully constructed public persona. It revealed the sheer dedication, the late nights, the meticulous research, the genuine passion that fueled the enterprise, showcasing human struggle and the unwavering commitment to a cause far greater than individual gain. This quiet, earnest portrayal cut through the sensationalism, resonating deeply with a segment of the public hungry for authenticity. Suddenly, the narrative began to shift. The digital wellness platform, once dismissed, started to gain organic traction, propelled by heartfelt testimonials from users whose lives were genuinely touched. A modest yet impactful round of angel investment followed, not from the traditional VCs who had initially scoffed, but from individuals who recognized the deep societal need and the innovative approach. This wasn't a sudden meteoric rise to overnight success. It was a slow, arduous climb, each step forward hard-won. The private battles were fierce, the weight of responsibility, the constant pressure to deliver, the fear of failing not just themselves, but the burgeoning community that had placed their trust in this vision were immense. There were moments of profound isolation, the burden of leadership feeling impossibly heavy, especially when the lines between personal identity and professional endeavor blurred under the constant public gaze. Yet it was in these very moments of vulnerability that their strength crystallized. They started to understand that their unique journey, far from being a handicap, was their greatest asset. It imbued their work with an authenticity that no marketing budget could buy. They had lived the very struggles their platform aimed to alleviate, had navigated the labyrinth of identity and self-acceptance, and this lived experience became the bedrock of their empathy and their strategic vision. This period marked the true genesis of their advocacy. Their entrepreneurial efforts weren't just about building a successful business. They were about building a better world, piece by painstaking piece, using technology as a lever for positive change. The platform became a testament to their belief that true well-being was not a luxury, but a fundamental human right, and that community connection and self-discovery were vital components of a fulfilling life. They started speaking more openly not just about the platform, but about the broader societal issues. It addressed mental health stigma, the pressure of societal conformity, the importance of embracing one's authentic self. Their voice, once muted by the cacophony of celebrity gossip, began to carry weight imbued with the hard-won credibility of someone who had not only talked the talk, but walked the walk. Under the most unforgiving of spotlights, they weren't just an entrepreneur. They were a movement, quietly, resolutely redefining success, not by financial metrics alone, but by societal impact and genuine human connection. The early career risks they took were not just financial gambles. They were profound personal investments, a doubling down on their unwavering belief in their purpose and their intrinsic worth regardless of how the world had previously sought to define them. This foundational period, marked by both public skepticism and quiet triumphs, cemented their identity as a leader, a visionary, and an unwavering advocate for a more empathetic and authentic world, transforming the very definition of resilience from a passive endurance into an active transformative force for good. The quiet victories of the early days, those hard-won battles against skepticism and doubt, slowly, almost imperceptibly morphed into something far grander, far more complex. The digital wellness platform, once a fledgling hope, had truly blossomed, its roots now deep and its branches reaching across the globe. What began as a personal mission had become a formidable enterprise, a force for good in an often cynical world. But with this burgeoning success came a new kind of spotlight, one that didn't just illuminate their past, but scorched their present with an intensity that few could truly withstand. The hum of anticipation, once laced with skepticism, now thrummed with expectation. A relentless, demanding current that pulled them deeper into the unforgiving waters of global fame. They were no longer just a survivor, a fascinating anomaly. They were a asterisk leader, a asterisk visionary, a figure upon whom countless hopes and aspirations were now projected. The responsibility was immense, a heavy cloak that seemed to grow heavier with each passing day. The pressure wasn't just external anymore. It was an insidious whisper in the quietest hours, a constant internal debate. Every strategic decision, every public statement, every innovation released was now magnified, scrutinized not just by critics, but by millions of users who had placed their trust, their vulnerable journeys, into the hands of this platform. The carefully curated public image, once a shield, began to feel like a cage. How much of their true self could they still reveal? How much authenticity could survive the constant polishing, the endless media training, the strategic silence on certain issues? The battle between the authentic self, the one forged in the crucible of personal transformation, and the public persona, the one necessary to lead a global movement, became a daily exhausting skirmish. Doubts, once easily dismissed, now gnawed at the edges of their resolve. Were they truly making a difference, or just building another gilded cage for themselves, albeit one with a noble mission? Competitors, once dismissive, now viewed them as a legitimate threat, launching aggressive campaigns, legal challenges, and even whispered rumors designed to undermine their credibility. The tech world, initially slow to acknowledge their unconventional entry, now watched with a predatory glint, eager to replicate their success or failing that to dismantle it. A particularly brutal setback came in the form of a high-profile data breach, a vulnerability exploited by an anonymous malicious entity, not for financial gain, but seemingly to inflict maximum reputational damage. The outcry was deafening, a tidal wave of outrage and disappointment that threatened to drown the entire enterprise. Users, once loyal, felt betrayed. Media outlets, quick to pounce, declared the venture a house of cards built on a shaky foundation of celebrity and naivety. It was a crisis that stripped away all pretense, forcing them to confront the raw fragility of their empire. The public trust, so painstakingly built, seemed to crumble in an instant, leaving them exposed, vulnerable, and questioning everything. During this period of intense scrutiny and professional turmoil, personal losses began to accumulate, subtle yet profound. The relentless demands of scaling a global enterprise meant less time for the quiet moments, for the genuine connections that had sustained them through their initial transformation. Friendships, once robust, frayed under the strain of canceled plans and missed calls. The very privacy they had fought so hard to reclaim became a luxury They could no longer afford with their every movement, every personal interaction dissected by paparazzi and online. Sleuths, the relationship that had so beautifully defied convention, once a beacon of strength and mutual understanding, faced its own unprecedented pressures. The public fascination, initially a quirky backdrop, now felt suffocating, its constant gaze eroding the intimate spaces they cherished. Arguments arose not from a lack of love, but from the sheer exhaustion of living a life, perpetually under review, a life where even a private moment of tenderness could become a sensationalized headline. The unique dynamic that once seemed invincible started to show cracks, not of disloyalty, but of weariness, of the relentless toll of always being on, always being seen. It was a stark, painful reminder that even the most profound connections needed oxygen, and the public spotlight often consumed it all. In the midst of this maelstrom, a profound internal pivot began to take shape. The relentless external pressures, the public failures, the personal costs, all conspired to push them to a breaking point. But true to their nature, this breaking point became a forging point. They realized that chasing perfection, or rather the asterisk public's idea of perfection, was a losing game. The crisis forced a raw, honest self-assessment. What truly mattered, was it the flawless public image, or the unwavering commitment to the underlying mission? The answer, forged in the fires of adversity, was unequivocally the latter. This wasn't about surviving the storm. It was about learning to sail through it, not by pretending the waves didn't exist, but by understanding their rhythm. They made a conscious decision to lean even harder into authenticity, not as a marketing strategy, but as a survival mechanism. They spoke openly about the data breach, acknowledging the failures with a humility that disarmed many critics. They took unprecedented steps to fortify their security, implementing measures that set new industry standards, transforming a profound weakness into an undeniable strength. They became transparent about the struggles of scaling, the challenges of innovation, and even the personal toll of their journey, inviting the public into the messy human reality of their experience. This shift was a radical act of self-acceptance, a defiant refusal to conform to the impossible standards of public life. It wasn't about presenting a flawless facade, but about embracing the imperfections, the struggles, and the very human journey of learning and growing. They doubled down on their advocacy, not just for mental wellness, but for the inherent right to privacy, for the need for greater empathy in digital spaces, and for the profound liberation that came from embracing vulnerability. This wasn't a calculated career pivot. It was a deeply personal recalibration, a conscious choice to prioritize their integrity over fleeting public approval. The platform, once defined by its celebrity founder, began to stand on its own merits, its impact resonating precisely because its leadership was so unflinchingly real. This period, marked by intense struggle and profound personal sacrifice, ultimately solidified their legacy, not just as a successful entrepreneur or an influential advocate, but as a beacon of unwavering resilience and authentic leadership in a world desperate for both. They had not merely adapted to the pressures of fame. They had transcended them, transforming every challenge into a deeper understanding of self and a more profound commitment to their purpose. It was a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit to not just survive the storm, but to emerge from with an even clearer vision, an even stronger voice, and an unshakable belief in the profound strength that lies in embracing one's true, imperfect, yet undeniably powerful self. The path ahead remained uncertain, but their internal compass tested, and true now pointed steadfastly towards a future defined not by external expectations, but by an unwavering commitment to their deepest truths. The realization that had crystallized in the crucible of crisis wasn't a fleeting epiphany, but a foundational shift. A deep-seated recalibration of their very existence under the unwavering, often harsh glare of the world. It was a defiant, almost visceral rejection of the relentless chase for external validation, an unyielding commitment to the authentic self, even if that self was messy, imperfect, and openly vulnerable. This wasn't merely a strategic maneuver to regain public trust. It was a profound act of self-reclamation. They understood with a clarity that only adversity could forge, that their true power lay not in shielding their imperfections, but in embracing them, in sharing the raw, unvarnished truth of their journey, not as a weakness, but as a shared human experience. The first tangible manifestation of this radical shift was a public address, unlike any they had given before. Gone were the carefully rehearsed statements, the guarded answers, the polished facade. Instead, they stood before the world not as a figure of untouchable success, but as a human being who had stumbled, who had felt the searing heat of public scorn, and who had learned painfully to rise again. They spoke candidly about the data breach, not just about the technical remedies, but about the profound sense of failure, the gut-wrenching anxiety of disappointing those who had believed in them. They articulated the immense personal cost of living a life, perpetually scrutinized the insidious erosion, privacy, and the quiet despair of seeing intimate moments twisted into sensational headlines. But crucially, they didn't speak from a place of victimhood, but from a newfound strength, transforming their pain into a powerful resonant narrative of resilience and personal accountability. They committed unequivocally to a new era of transparency, not just in business operations, but in human connection, promising to build a digital space that championed vulnerability, fostered genuine dialogue, and fiercely protected the sanctity of individual experience. This was their comeback moment, not defined by a triumphant return to past glory, but by an audacious leap into an authentic future, a brave refusal to let external narratives dictate their truth. The public reaction was initially stunned silence, followed by a groundswell of empathetic understanding. The sheer audacity of their vulnerability, the raw honesty of their admission, disarmed many of their harshest critics, users who had felt alienated and betrayed by the data breach began to return, drawn by the undeniable sincerity of the apology and the tangible commitment to change. Competitors who had poised themselves to strike found their attacks rendered impotent against a foe who refused to wear armor, choosing instead the impenetrable shield of truth. This wasn't just a moment of personal triumph. It was a societal inflection point, challenging the very notion of what leadership looked like in the digital age. They proved that true strength wasn't about projecting invincibility, but about possessing the courage to admit flaws, to learn from mistakes, and to lead with an open heart. The digital wellness platform, under this new transparent leadership, began to flourish in ways previously unimaginable. It became more than just an application. It evolved into a global community, a digital sanctuary, where individuals felt safe to share their struggles, to seek support, and to embark on their own journeys of self-discovery. Inspired by the very public path of its founder, the character didn't just advocate for mental well-being. They modeled it, demonstrating the profound liberation that came from living authentically, even under the most intense scrutiny. They initiated groundbreaking partnerships with mental health organizations, not just as a philanthropic endeavor, but as an integral part of their business model, creating symbiotic relationships that extended the reach and impact of their mission far beyond commercial success. They pushed for industry-wide changes in data privacy, becoming a vocal proponent for ethical tech development, leveraging their personal experience to shape policy and influence public discourse on a global scale. This was no longer just about their own reinvention. It was about reinventing the very landscape of digital interaction, imbuing it with empathy, integrity, and a profound respect for the human spirit. Crucially, this period of radical authenticity also profoundly reshaped their most intimate relationships. The partnership, which had felt the suffocating strain of constant public observation, now found a new footing, deeper and more resilient than before, by openly embracing their vulnerability. By shedding the protective layers of a public persona, they inadvertently created a space for genuine intimacy to thrive even amidst the chaos. The unrestrained dynamic transformed into a symbiotic dance, a shared commitment to a life lived on their own terms. Their partner, who had witnessed the quiet battles and endured the shared pressures, now became an even more unwavering anchor, not just of emotional support, but of shared purpose. They navigated the challenges of their unconventional life, not as two individuals bearing separate burdens, but united front, drawing strength from a mutual understanding that transcended words. The public, which had initially speculated wildly about their relationship, now witnessed a bond forged in fire, testament to love's endurance under extraordinary circumstances. Their shared journey became a quiet, powerful counter-narrative to the often simplistic portrayals of fame and romance, illustrating that true connection wasn't about avoiding difficulty, but about confronting it together with unwavering trust and profound respect. The personal losses, the frayed friendships slowly began to heal, replaced by a smaller, more intimate circle of trusted confidants who valued authenticity over superficiality. They learned to build boundaries to protect their private sanctuary with a fierce intentionality, understanding that true legacy wasn't built on constant public visibility, but on genuine, deeply felt human connections. The reinvention decisions made during this tumultuous period weren't about escaping their past, but about integrating it, transforming every wound into wisdom, every public misstep into a powerful lesson. For others, they began to speak at global forums, not about their business triumphs, but about the profound necessity of self-acceptance in a world obsessed with curated images. Their message resonated far beyond traditional entrepreneurial circles, touching the lives of artists, activists, educators, and countless individuals grappling with their own identities in an increasingly complex world. They became a living embodiment of the idea that vulnerability was not a weakness, but a superpower, a bridge to genuine connection and profound empathy. Their legacy was no longer just about the innovative company they built or the impactful advocacy they championed. It was about the profound permission they granted others to be authentically themselves, to find strength in their own unique journeys, and to redefine success on their own terms. This was the emotional payoff, the culmination of years of relentless self-discovery and courageous reinvention. The constant hum of anticipation that had once followed them now carried a different resonance. Not of skepticism or judgment, but of hope, of inspiration, of a shared humanity they had not just survived the storm of public life. They had learned to sail through it, becoming a lighthouse for countless others, guiding them towards their own shores of authenticity and self-realization. Their journey had transitioned from a mere personal transformation to a universal narrative, demonstrating that the deepest crises could indeed be the catalysts for the most profound growth, that the truest purpose was often discovered in the very heart of adversity, and that an unwavering commitment to one's deepest truths was the most powerful, enduring legacy one could ever hope to build. They stood poised on the precipice of a new chapter, not defined by external expectations, but by an unwavering commitment to their deepest truths, ready to continue shaping a world that embraced authenticity, celebrated diversity, and championed the inherent power of every individual's unique story. The precipice upon which they now stood was not an ending, but a vista revealing a landscape meticulously sculpted by years of unwavering fortitude and profound self-discovery. That once followed them, a discordant symphony of judgment and speculation, had softened, transmuted into a quiet, reverent resonance of shared understanding, a collective breath, held in admiration for a journey that defied all conventional maps. This new chapter wasn't marked by a sudden dramatic flourish, but by the quiet, deeply rooted confidence of someone who had not only weathered the most tumultuous storms, but had learned to harness their very power, the relentless pursuit of an authentic self. Once a private, agonizing struggle waged under unforgiving lights had blossomed into an undeniable public truth, a powerful testament to the liberating force of self-acceptance. They had ceased to be merely a subject of fascination. They had become a living, breathing embodiment of transformation, a beacon illuminating the arduous, yet profoundly rewarding path toward genuine self-realization. The journey, which had begun with a radical personal reinvention, had evolved into something far grander. A quiet revolution of spirit, demonstrating that the most profound shifts in the world often begin within the deepest recesses of an individual heart. Every scar etched upon their soul, every moment of doubt whispered in the darkest hours, had not diminished them, but refined them, forging a resilience that was not merely about enduring hardship, but about actively transforming it into purpose. Reinvention, initially perceived as a dramatic singular event, was now understood as a continuous, gentle unfolding, a lifelong commitment to growth, adaptability, and the courageous shedding of outdated skins. Adversity, once a formidable antagonist, had become an unexpected ally, a relentless teacher, whose harsh lessons had paved the way for deeper empathy, clearer vision, and an unshakable sense of inner fortitude and triumph. It was no longer measured by fleeting accolades or material success, but by the quiet satisfaction of living a life in profound alignment with one's truest values, by the subtle yet undeniable impact woven into the fabric of countless lives. This was the deeper understanding that had emerged, that life's profoundest victories often arise from its most agonizing defeats, that true strength lies not in an absence of vulnerability, but in the unwavering courage to embrace it. their narrative transcended the public image, the headlines, the curated moments. It spoke to the universal human condition, to the inherent yearning for belonging, for self-expression, for a life lived with unwavering integrity. They had become not just a survivor, but a guide, their own hard-won wisdom, a compass for those navigating their own intricate labyrinths of identity and purpose. The entrepreneurial spirit that had first sparked in the crucible of public scrutiny had now matured into a powerful, purposeful engine for societal good. Their ventures were never solely about market dominance or profit margins. They were living manifestations of their core beliefs, platforms designed not just to serve a need, but to elevate the human experience, to foster connection, and to champion holistic well-being. The initial skepticism from industry titans had long since faded, replaced by grudging respect, then genuine admiration, as they witnessed not just business acumen, but a visionary leadership rooted in authentic empathy. Their advocacy, once a passionate voice for the marginalized, had swelled into a global chorus, dismantling stigmas, challenging systemic injustices, and promoting a world where diversity was not just tolerated, but celebrated as the very essence of human richness. They leveraged their unique platform not for personal gain, but as a megaphone for those silenced, a spotlight for issues too long relegated to the shadows. Their legislative efforts, their partnerships with global organizations, their tireless campaigning for digital empathy and privacy were all extensions of their profound commitment. Building a more just, more compassionate, more understanding world. This was their legacy, unfolding in real time. Not a monument to individual achievement, but a living, breathing testament to the transformative power of a life lived with unwavering purpose, a life dedicated to uplifting not just themselves, but the collective human spirit. They had transcended the role of celebrity entrepreneur and advocate, evolving into a profound symbol of what was possible when courage met conviction, when vulnerability became strength, and when personal truth became a universal call to action. And within the intricate tapestry of this public life, the most profound testament to their journey was perhaps found in the quiet, enduring strength of their intimate relationships, the partnership that had weathered the relentless storms of public scrutiny, the constant erosion of privacy, and the immense pressures of shared burdens had not only survived, but flourished, transforming into an unbreakable bond forged in the fires of mutual understanding and unwavering support. It was a relationship that defied conventional narratives, a beautiful anomaly in a world obsessed with predictable archetypes, demonstrating that true love and profound companionship could indeed bloom and thrive in the most unconventional of soils, nurtured by acceptance, trust, and a shared vision for an authentic life. They had together built a sanctuary not of bricks and mortar, but of shared values and unspoken understanding, a true home found not in a physical space, but in the unwavering embrace of another soul who saw them, truly saw them, beyond the headlines, beyond the public persona, to the very core of their being. This was the ultimate realization of belonging, a profound reciprocal connection that anchored them amidst the swirling currents of global recognition, reminding them that their truest self was always cherished, always accepted, always loved, irrespective of external acclaim or public opinion. The circle of trust, once expansive and prone to breaches, had consciously narrowed, becoming a sacred space of authentic connection, populated by those few who genuinely understood the depth of their journey and the sanctity of their evolving self. The reinvention decisions made during this tumultuous period weren't about escaping their past, but about integrating it, transforming every wound into wisdom, every public misstep into a powerful lesson. For others, they began to speak at global forums, not about their business triumphs, but about the profound necessity of self-acceptance. In a world obsessed with curated images, their message resonated far beyond traditional entrepreneurial circles, touching the lives of artists, activists, educators, and countless individuals grappling with their own identities in an increasingly complex world. They became a living embodiment of the idea that vulnerability was not a weakness, but a superpower, a bridge to genuine connection and profound empathy. Their legacy was no longer just about the innovative company they built or the impactful advocacy they championed. It was about the profound permission they granted others to be authentically themselves, to find strength in their own unique journeys, and to redefine success on their own terms. This was the emotional payoff, the culmination of years of relentless self-discovery and courageous reinvention, the constant hum of anticipation that had once followed them now carried a different resonance. Not of skepticism or judgment, but of hope, of inspiration, of a shared humanity. They had not just survived the storm of public life. They had learned to sail through it, becoming a lighthouse for countless others, guiding them towards their own shores of authenticity and self-realization. Their journey had transitioned from a mere personal transformation to a universal narrative, demonstrating that the deepest crises could indeed be the catalysts for the most profound growth, that the truest purpose was often discovered in the very heart of adversity, and that an unwavering commitment to one's deepest truths was the most powerful, enduring legacy one could ever hope to build. They stood poised on the precipice of a new chapter, not defined by external expectations, but by an unwavering commitment to their deepest truths, ready to continue shaping a world that embraced authenticity, celebrated diversity, and championed the inherent power of every individual's unique story. What aspects of personal transformation or building a legacy resonate most with you? Share your thoughts in the comments below.